You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming. It's 70 minutes toward the gaming drag today. I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Tennis Ace, June's Path. Alright y'all, I'm going to go ahead and jump right back into it. We're going to save the Patreon stuff for the end of the video. Anyway, alarm chain, you are up, and let's go! Alright. Whoa, seriously? Yeah, it turns out I really do like guys after all. I mean, I don't think a quick peck on the lips is indicative of anything. It was full tongue. What? You're about as shocked as I was. I'm just... Wow, that was really bold of the guy. I can't believe you actually let him do that. He had always been really nice to me, and I kind of really liked it. I have a hard time conciliating this information with the image I have of June in my head. But this was 4 years ago, so it's been a long time. You're a lot more worldly than I thought, June. I don't think I'd go that far. Trying to think of more questions is pretty hard, too. I'm curious about it, but I can't think of what to ask. The two of us nearly jump out of bed when we hear knocking knocking at the door. Apparently, we're so lost in our own awkwardness that we kind of shut off the rest of the world. June, I baked some cookies. Why don't you come outside to snack for a bit? June, Yui-san's voice echoes from the other side of the door, as sweet and caring as she usually sounds. Coming! She seems satisfied by his response as I hear her walking away from the door. Wow, I haven't even been here long and she already baked cookies? Was it just coincidence that I came by while she was planning to make them? No, she just likes to use guests as an excuse to do things like that, so she gets to snack too while acting like it wasn't for her. Oh, that's kinda amusing. It was at first, but it gets old pretty fast, though. I'll take your word for it. Come on, if we leave her waiting for too long, she's gonna barge in. We step outside into the living room, where we see Yui-san sitting on the floor with her legs under a very thick-looking kotatsu, absent-mindedly munching on a cookie while watching TV. Yui-san, isn't it kind of warm to be using a kotatsu? Her eyes snap up to me and she smiles, cocking her head to the side and leaning back on her arm. Oh, it's alright. I tend to feel chilly easily, plus it's very soft and comfortable. I have trouble accepting that explanation, mostly because of just how warm I've been feeling the past couple weeks. But then again, I guess not everyone is the same. And I also have a kind of heavy coat of fur. June sits on the opposite side of his mother, grabbing a cookie from the platter and taking a bite out of it. Deciding that there's no point standing around on my own, I take one of the free spots on the kotatsu and try to ignore the warmth around my legs. So, tell me, Yuichi-kun, how was the school festival? June tells me you spent most of the time wandering around. Yeah, I wanted to just walk around and try to enjoy the festival for a bit, visit the stalls and whatnot. Of course, I also spent a lot of time worrying about this walking accident here. What? Since when am I a walking accident? You nearly set fire to the kitchen. Wait, you did what? Yui-san's eyes go wide. She stares at June, slack-jawed. Second, y'all. It's adorable. Like a glass of OJ. That only happened once! That's already one too many times. Ugh. He wiggles around in his seat, looking all sorts of defeated. I have to admit, it's a little amusing. When I asked you how the festival went, you called it uneventful. I didn't think it was worth bringing up. You nearly set yourself on fire. That could have happened to anyone. And yet it didn't. By the way, didn't you also... Stop telling on me to my mother! The funniest part of this all is, as far as I know, the fire was the only accident he caused. So I just got him squirming when I got nothing at all to tell. I must not let this power get to my head. You and I are going to need to talk about this later. Yes, ma'am. Wow, he sounds so defeated that I almost feel bad for teasing him like this. Almost. Well, putting that aside, what else did you boys do? Did you spend any time together? June barely told us anything. Mom, stop with the interrogation! What? I'm not interrogating. I'm just curious since you didn't tell me anything. Because there's nothing to tell! Is there really nothing to tell, Yuichi-kun? Mom! Heh. Don't laugh. I have to admit, I'm loving this. Sorry, June, it's kind of mean, but it's just too funny. And we walked around together for a bit, yeah. We took June to a cafe made by a freshman class that specialized in serving desserts. Once she hears that, Yui-san's face brightens up and she looks at the two of us with a wide smile. Really? Was it good? Yeah, I asked Yuichi-san to surprise me and order for me. Can you believe he ended up picking strawberry? Oh my, isn't that your favorite? Right? It was really good. I hope you thanked him for it. I did, right, Yuichi-san? He did. If there's one thing June is good at, is thanking people dozens of times when he really doesn't need to. Hey, when you put it that way, it almost sounds like a bad thing. Does it now? Oh no, how could that be? Am I being mocked? Louise and I both laugh at June's annoyance. Even when he's annoyed, he finds a way to be cute. Just seeing his cheeks puffed up and pouty like that makes me want to poke him. Of course, I'd be scared of getting bit or something like that. I'd never poke an angry tiger on the cheek. Or anyone else for that matter. I really want to have cake now. Maybe I should order one. Mom, we already have the cookies. We can't have that many sweets. Nonsense. Sweets are always good. Mom! Oh, I know. I'll call out Sushi and ask him to swing by a bakery on his way home. Mom! Wow, she's not listening to him at all. In fact, I don't think she's even registering his presence at all. Apparently having your head in the clouds is a family trait. I wasn't aware of that. In just a second, I'm going to give Atsushi a call. June stands up and quickly scurries away towards what I assume is her bedroom. That was, something. She's probably going to guilt Dad into buying sweets on his way home now. Oof, that doesn't sound good. Well, I guess it's not that bad. He's always just looking for an excuse to eat sweets, too. Is this a family of ants, by any chance? Still, your mom seemed pretty enthusiastic. Yeah, I guess that's a good thing, at least. She was a bit down the past few days, so it's nice to see her more cheerful. Did something happen? Just some personal stuff. Sorry, I shouldn't have asked. That was tactless of me. It's okay. Thanks for understanding. I seem to keep hitting roadblocks every time I try to ask something. Maybe I should take this as a sign to not ask so many questions. Was there any reason you didn't tell your parents anything about the festival? I thought it'd be awkward. I don't think I'd be able to hide how I was feeling if I started talking about it. After all, most of the memorable parts were from when I was with you. Oh, at least it was only most of them instead of all of them. That's a silver lining at least, right? The only other memorable thing was the fire. Oof. I'm sorry. It's okay. I had time to process it anyway. A lot of time, actually. The past few days were kind of boring. Really? I thought you were really busy. I even asked Aki to message you for me, but you never answered. He did? Shoot, my phone was turned off. Why was your phone turned off if you were bored? I only have a cheap feature phone. It's not like I could do much of anything on it in the first place. Ah, I guess that's a fair point. Speaking of phones, how much is it going to cost to replace yours? I'm not sure. I haven't chosen a model yet. I feel kind of responsible for it in a way. You didn't put a gun to my head and tell me to throw it against the wall. You have nothing to feel responsible about. I guess. Seriously, stop trying to take responsibility for things that were totally out of your control. June, you apologize too much. You need to be fairer to yourself. Oh, sorry. Seriously? You respond to me saying you apologize too much by apologizing? Do I need to physically smack some sense into your head? Alright, I'm back. That was quicker than I thought. Yes, isn't that nice? She chuckled, seemingly very happy with herself. Yeah, I'm just surprised Dad folded that quickly. Folded? What do you mean? Nothing, never mind. An hour later. I barely noticed the time passing by as Wee-san is very insistent in making conversation. I end up becoming engrossed very quickly. Whether it is on purpose or by accident, she seems to have a knack for asking questions that embarrass her son. It takes everything I have to keep myself from giving an answer that might embarrass him even more. It's just too funny to tease him. The sound of the door sliding open echoes from nearby the living room, and about a minute later, June's father walks into the house. I'm home, and good afternoon, Yuichi-kun. It's good to see you again. Good afternoon, sir. I'm sorry for the intrusion. He scoffs and waves me off. He takes a seat at the kotatsu and dropping what looks like a cake box on the table. Don't be ridiculous. It's a pleasure to have you here. Don't stand on the ceremony so much. Welcome home. How was work? It was okay. Peaceful and boring as ever. Feels like no one commits crimes anymore. That's a bummer. No, that's not a bummer. That's a good thing. Do you two even have a clue what you're saying? Welcome home, dear. I hope the commute wasn't too bad. Atsushi-san sticks out his tongue, a gesture that I definitely don't expect from a man his age, and groans. The commute itself was fine, but my god it was hot. They need to install air conditioning out on the public transport. Most of them tend to have AC. You're just really unlucky with getting the older train cars. In that case, what is even the point? I guess. Atsushi-san scans the table, looking at both me and June. For a second, I'm a bit worried what he's thinking, because he has this serious look on his face all of a sudden. Then he pouts. Don't just stand there, you two. I brought cake for you. Eat. What? For us? Wee-san chuckles, getting up from her seat and walking to the kitchen for just a few seconds before coming back with plates, forks, and a knife. That was incredibly fast. Yeah, Wee-san told me you were here and asked me to buy a cake for you boys. Apparently she knew you were coming since yesterday and forgot to tell me. I'd have already had one at the ready if I knew. Ah, so that's how she got him to agree so fast. I have a hard time keeping the smile on my face hearing this. Wee-san, please don't use me as an excuse to get your husband to buy a cake. Here, let me serve everyone a slice. And Sushi-san, do you want this one too? Yes, please. At least I'll have something to cheer me up after such a crappy day. Didn't you just say you had a good day? Which is it? So, Yuichi-kun, what brings you here? It's not often that you visit us. But me? No reason in particular. I just wanted to hang out with June for a bit is all. Even June's face looks visibly uneasy. Was my answer that bad? And I accidentally broke my phone during the festival, so I couldn't really message him about it. I'm sorry for just dropping by uninvited. Nonsense! I already told you not to stand on ceremony. You're welcome to show up whenever. Hell, you could just open the front door and walk in without saying anything, and I'd be fine with it. Blah ha ha ha. He laughs like he just told the world's most hilarious joke, his voice booming loudly throughout the room. If he did that, then he'd walk in on you walking around the house naked. Yui-san chuckles, handing us all some very generous slices of cake, which I promptly accept so as to not be rude. And Sushi-san grins and shrugs, stuffing his face with said cake. I'm used to being seen naked and seeing other guys naked on a daily basis. I stopped caring a long time ago. Ain't got nothing to hide. That's a bit... So you wouldn't mind the fact that someone you're a big fan of gets to walk in on you naked out of nowhere. And Sushi-san's face immediately drains itself of all color. He begins mumbling, opening and closing his mouth like a fish without really saying any words. Well, when you put it like that... Also, like I've said before, you could really stand to have a little bit more modesty. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to draw attention to myself, but... There you go. Water and OJ are depleted. Is this really the kind of conversation you should be having in front of a guest? I really don't want to be picturing June's dad walking around the house with everything hanging free. No. Bad mental image. Bad! Ooh, this cake is really good. Yui-san completely ignores the totally out-of-place conversation happening in front of her, focusing instead on her cake. How normal does this kind of talk have to be for her to not even bat an eye to it? This entire family is really weird. And yet, I kind of like it here. They're very warm and welcoming. I find myself laughing along even at this absurd conversation like it were the most natural thing in the world. I guess I do miss this sort of environment. With Mom always at work and Aki spending most of his time either training or studying, I can count on my hands the amount of family time we've had in the past few months. Yuichi-san, are you alright? Huh? You were asked a question, didn't answer. Oh, sorry, I was thinking of some stuff and ended up spacing out. What was the question again? I asked how your training had been going. Are you ready for the regional tournament? Oh, that's in a few months. Besides, with the courts having been repurposed for the festival, we didn't do much in terms of training for the past couple weeks. That doesn't sound good. You should spend this time practicing so you can do well at the tournament. I'll be fine, really. It's not like I can do any better at it than I already do. Getting second place is easy, but there's no way I can beat Tanabe. It's just not happening. Be it at regionals or nationals, that guy is my superior in every way. Honey, don't barrage him with tennis questions. What? It was only 2 questions. That always ends up leading to more. Alright, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credit, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!